We can look.
But I have.
Yeah, it's the remote.
So.
Where's the remote? No.
Yeah. Stand for the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Trying to figure out what that thing great light is in the middle of the screen. Everybody's a tech person. Okay,
It's just the lights.
maybe. Chair Simmons here. Thank you. Zach Gaynor. Patty Burns. Here. Evan King,
Here.
Don Weber,
Here.
Matt Lyman.
Here.
Joanna Para is said she would try to join us on Zoom. And your ex officio tonight is Counselor Katie Redding. Here.
Right. Before we start, I wanted to add a topic of discussion. And I need, you all to vote on whether you're willing to discuss this. This is on, conduct of a board member.
So if there's. Someone can move to add an item to the agenda, and then someone needs to second it, just like any other. Kind of thing like this, and then. I'll ask everybody for a vote, and if there's enough. Ayes, then it gets added to, I think, wherever you feel.
It's to go after. After the public comment. Or would it go after?
I will
Look at it.
She's she doesn't get it.
Oh, well, if you add, is it new business or is it old business? What bring back up?
It's new business.
Then you're probably.
Under new business at the end.
Okay, so,
So the question is, we want to discuss what conduct is? Or what's,
Conduct of a board member.
okay, so we want to discuss conduct of one of us.
Yes.
Okay.
okay, so if someone wants to make a motion on that.
I guess I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I motion to approve discussion of the conduct of a board member.
I'll second that.
First by Evan, second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Did anybody opposed?
Nobody
else. Okay, then we're good. We'll see here.
Okay, so we'll add that under new business. Approval of the minutes. Everybody get a chance to review those?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
I have a first by Patty and a second by Dawn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Public comment. Is there anybody?
There isn't nobody online.
And I didn't receive anything prior to the meeting, so.
Okay. All right, so unfinished business. Continued discussion on Louis Wentz Park. Feasibility study and neighborhood meeting. Can you fill us in on this, please, Bill? Because, our quarterly report had requested a feasibility study, but they're evidently sending it back saying they want a proposal from us.
Yeah, they were receptive to the idea. They would just like you all to elaborate a little more on, basically elaborate more on what you'd like to do. We discussed that. Probably the biggest topic that came up was how to pay for or where the money would come from. That was one of them. And what, and what I mentioned was, depending on how it was scoped, if you were looking at doing something that kind of added more use capacity, like if whatever improvements were put in place were identified as desired and potentially put in place that made the space of the park able to be used more. And so you were building capacity, it's possible system development charges in the parks capital fund could be used at least in part. And so I think what they wanted to hear is what you were thinking, because if you were looking at, for example, if you all were looking at just, just kind of cleaning it up and maybe re-improving the surface and all that, not really adding to its capacity, or more use or different use, then that would be a different answer about how to pay for it than if you looked at, and then if you looked at doing something new. And, I think question or comment came up, well, what type of new uses would you want to have there? Would it be a pavilion? Would it be a playground? Would it, it'd be good for Parks Board to kind of come back with a proposal with a bit more specificity, because then I could then kind of go into figuring out what the best way to pay for it would be.
If I'm not mistaken, when I was listening to the minutes, the meeting, they had talked about, well, maybe a pavilion would be better used. And we need to have a feasibility study to find out what should go in there actually. So that's beyond what we can do. So that was our request for a feasibility study. So now we can say of what to put in there.
Well, couldn't we give like I went over and then looked at it, kind of pasted off, and maybe we could just say, like I've talked to some people and one of the good things that surfaced is like they love the pavilion playground thing here. Maybe over there, a couple of people suggested, what if we catered more to younger kids, and then had a, like one of the sets over here, the little kid set would probably fit over there. So you have that, and then on the other side, you have a covered area with a few picnic tables, and it would be like a little kid place, you could have a birthday party or something. Because it's not a big enough space to me to put in much. And little kids to me would almost fit better anyway. And maybe we could start, I don't know if it's hard to get like the company we used here to just, I don't think we have much ballpark for like, how much does that one smaller set of equipment that works with little kids, how much would that cost? How much would they charge us to install? How much would the pavilion charge us? And then we would know if it's even in the ballpark of what you say we have money for.
Yeah, no, I think what I would suggest, in terms of how to approach it is, it wouldn't be terribly expensive to have a park planner or engineering related firm to just take a look at the property and figure out under ADA, the site's location, site size, site shape, just what's the yield on the property if we did anything different. And then let those kind of basic findings at first maybe kind of give you an idea of a frame of things you could do differently with it. And perhaps it's playground, perhaps it's something else. They might say, well, it's just not going to work. There's no way to fit a pavilion on here. It would have to be a playground of a certain size, or it would have to be a this, that, or the other. So I guess what I'm saying is I think you could, I think in engineering planning, just kind of due diligence document that does the first phase of what could fit there. Kind of under all the different guidelines you have to follow with a park, and then start there. That'd be my advice.
I remember from previous discussions, we had discussed just removing all the walkway through it altogether, because it's not very necessary for obviously what, for actually getting more use out of it. So does that affect it at all?
That would probably not be SDC qualified. My guess is the sidewalk, because it's already pre-existing. They're removing it and adding something similar to it, but just in a different location. I don't think that would qualify for SDC. But I think in the pavilion, the playground would.
I meant, well, doing that and removing it, does that change it at all? If we have to remove it also, does that change? Whether we can get the SDDC, the acronym funds,
That works. I think the answer to the question is, it really kind of depends on what the new thing is you put there, and is that new additional capacity to serve people?
but removing that wouldn't affect it as much.
No, because you have to.
As long as the other thing makes the requirements.
Exactly. I mean,
Okay,
no matter
so
what you do, you probably have to remove that,
I
and
just
it's a
wanted to
matter of,
clarify.
yep, no, it's a good question.
So it doesn't negate the SDC funds.
As long as the item or whatever improvements we do meet the standards.
Yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, no matter what, even if you were just turning it into a flat, or, grassy area to sit down and have a picnic, you're gonna have to replace that path anyway. It's, what we wanna do is roll the cost of getting rid of that path into the total cost of whatever new, more intensive use is decided.
They also mentioned a neighborhood meeting.
Yeah, there was interest in kind of getting a sense of, what people, if the idea was to do something new and more on that location, on that park location for residents over there, because it's underserved. Some kind of outreach or input, was a good idea, just to kind of see, well, what people thought they might like over there.
Would we do that before or after the engineering planner looked at it to tell us?
My view is you do that after, because you would let the engineering report say,
Okay.
here's how big your palette is. And here are the types of things you might be able to do that you could get away with, given the unique nature of the site, whatever was found with that report. And then you would be able to, then you would know credibly what you could go out to the public and say, well, it could be a playground of this size, or it could be a this, or, whatever.
Okay. Thank you for that direction.
I mean, if we had a couple good options, that would be the key. Here's two viable options. You want A or B.
Yeah,
That would be simple.
yeah.
But like, kind of going with what Don said, it's a matter of just kind of framing it with a couple things or three things, so that we don't go down the path of anything that, well, we can't do, it doesn't work.
Would, some potential pictures be helpful to them as well? Or
Pictures,
pictures?
you can do that with AI for free.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
In with the proposal, so that they can get an idea of our vision.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an easy thing where staff could just have at the senior center, probably, since it's closest, or something along those lines, we could work with Patty and just have like a little neighborhood meeting. And we could have kind of placards or boards up on easels that just kind of showed, we would just use ChatGPT to kind of say, what would a playground targeting 3 to 8 look like there versus this versus that, and we'd load a photo of the site in. And it would do it, and that would be just kind of an easy meeting to have. Wouldn't cost us anything but paper to print out the photos, basically.
The other thing that somebody mentioned, and I did call, it's, somebody had said it'd be nice if we're gonna use it for a lot of parties in the summer, what about it? For 4 months a year, we have a porta potty. And porta potties are about, I think, $150 a month. So, if this group wanted, or whatever, you could budget for that, and that would give the ability, because that's one thing parents say when I ask them, they love Jesse May because of their budget. So in an emergency, we'll tell our kids to go before they get there, but it'd be nice if there was emergency backup.
Yeah, Yeah,
That could, we don't have to do it, but that'd be an option.
well, I guess what I would say is I think we'd be dumb if we didn't think about how to work that in, depending on what the, what it was. And so.
It's just a single bathroom somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now's the time to, or this process will be the time to make sure we don't miss things like that.
Does anybody else have anything to add about the pavilion or the park?
This is a-
What's park?
Is this a pretty heavily used park right now?
It's not. That's
Not used at
why
all.
we want to change it so that it will be used.
I walk past it often. I have never seen anyone there unless they're taking just a little path that takes 10 seconds to walk through.
Right.
Okay.
It's just a short cut around the corner. That's all it is.
Maybe want to come up with a third option. They give people like just more options to choose from. Or what to use as an improvement for the space,
Sure.
or are we just happy with the two?
I mean, I think what Bill's saying, if we bring some experts in and they look at it, they might surface something too. They might say, oh, here's something maybe you haven't thought about, which I would welcome
Yes.
the people's input. I thought potentially the little kid idea is a bad one, because they're smaller, the space is small, but
The only other thing I thought of, just maybe looking ahead on the agenda list is like. It's big enough that if you empty it out, you could have a skateboarding bowl. Kid, whatever, you call it, I don't skateboard, so I don't know what terminology.
I don't think it's.
It was just as an option. Not a plausible option, just an option.
I think. Here's my concern about skate parks, I'm not against them. They need to be on a busy street. So that they are monitored well. Not on a neighborhood street.
yeah, I'm just not sure that's a different discussion if we ever want a skate park, but I don't think that site is a workable place for it.
It's too small.
Yeah.
I wasn't imagining anything too big. Just a simple bowl like.
Well, we can start with the two items and. Let our engineers have their way and then let the people. Have input. And they could potentially change from that.
They might have a great idea. We haven't thought.
Might even suggest like maybe another racquetball court there. It might just be big enough for that. Pickleball, things, whatever. I'm not here right now.
Yeah, no, that's the right term.
Yeah, I think the very first thing though will just be, the engineering planning firm that does these things, just so you know. What kind of talent you have.
Okay. All right. Next is, deposit for the pavilion rental discussion. I'm sorry.
Council right here.
Oh, sorry.
I know Councilor Page was interested in possible barbecue. They're not pits, but they're up on a stand, and just to consider if that is something that the designer or whoever we're using is a good idea to factor in our insurance costs.
I think like the one that's at the bar, is there a barbecue or?
It's like you bring your own charcoal.
Yeah, it's, they're,
Yeah, just to factor
Campsite.
in the insurance.
Somebody else here there. Especially if you have a Portsy Road one.
I mean, we'd want to talk more about that. I think there's a lot of caution now,
Oh, I,
fire.
that's why I'm bringing up the insurance
I would
cost in
just
our.
not do it. Risky now.
I mean, people can bring their portable barbecues, right?
Yeah, you can't stop.
They really want to have a barbecue.
Is that in our rental agreements anymore? So you must do it here today at Justin Bates.
There's no barbecues allowed at Jesse Bates.
None.
So then if we were to put a gazebo over there, we could maybe make that a option for them instead of having, able to have it here? Or would that be against the,
I don't know, it's such a small area that
And there's a lot of trees and
there's a lot of.
around, both sides of it.
Yeah,
so is there only one tree?
well, and there's hedges all
Yeah.
right out, all outside.
The south and the east side of it. Where there's no parking, it's shrubs. Plus that's right up to somebody's yard,
Yeah.
maybe you. Little cell phone.
Okay. So the deposit for the pavilion rental, Bill, could you, outline what it is that the council wanted from us on that?
Yeah, so at this point, we don't have a deposit for rentals at the pavilion. And so if there's any damage, like there was an electrical outlet that was busted on a recent rental, we don't have a deposit on the books of any kind to deal with that issue of damage. So they were interested in having you all take a look into that and look at other facilities or kind of what might work in terms of an example. And propose to them, advise them on how to approach that issue.
So did we verify somebody that rented it, broke the outlet?
Yep. Broke down.
It didn't happen the night before, somebody admitted it or something, you mean?
It was broken during the month.
Pardon?
It was broken during the month. Like they misused it. So we just had to repair it at our own expense. And, you know, if there had been a damage, and the Jesse Mays rental inside, there's a deposit for that. If something like that would have happened, then we would have taken it out of the deposit. But yeah, we don't have anything.
So how do we know it happened during their rental? They told us or something?
Yeah, I don't have the paperwork. Do you know what the circumstances were? But it was during the rental that the electrical outlet was busted, correct?
Well, my recollection is that it was inspected and it was found to have been damaged during the rental. I think it wasn't damaged prior to the rental. It's what my recollection was.
When they put up the sign for the rentals, or when they go and make sure the garbage can.
Yeah, they check the area frequently.
I'm just saying, to be honest, it's hard to know, like I go by there all the time, there's lots of kids, so. Unless somebody inspected it before and after, it could have been the group of kids that hang out after the rental. Prior to somebody inspecting them.
It was one of those issues where it was right after Garlic Festival and was working during Garlic Festival. And so sometime in that period, that short period, it broke it.
Well, I think the broader point is it was broken and had to be repaired at the city's expense. There's no deposit on rentals of the pavilion now. And check-in of the pavilion, including paperwork, would be added, initial here that everything was working properly. And so we have it's level set that everything's working on it. And then that would be part of the procedure of checking. So if it's damaged, we take money out of the deposit.
I mean, the thing we talked about before, I mean, to me overall, and I used the place last summer and attended an event too, I thought it really worked well. In the whole scheme of things, it's a simple process. I also don't want to add more work to the city. If we're gonna get more picky and do a deposit, you almost have to be willing to inspect or inspect after. We don't have that ability, and to get everybody to take the proper pictures, like I don't even remember when we used it even being aware. There's an electrical outlet you're saying that's there. I mean,
Yeah.
we used it and I wasn't even aware there was one, so we wouldn't have even noticed. If it was broke or not, so I guess my overall question, it seems to me the current system works pretty well. I don't want to add more work. To somebody having to inspect a couple times. I don't think Dustin has the staff to do it. And then collecting the money and sending it back, it just seems like. I don't know, it seems to me for the number of people that used it, it worked really well. The whole system. So is there major problem that we can address with a deposit? Or will it just make things more complicated?
The deposit is taken at rental time and it gets fully reimbursed if there's no issue with it. It's a standard thing. Other cities do it. This is not anything unusual. And it would be the person who rents it, if it's damaged, they pay for the damage done instead of taxpayers paying for it. So it's not a difficult thing.
It's difficult in terms of we don't have a way to always verify the exact condition when you show up, because if the leg on the table is broke, how do you know I broke it? Right? We don't have the staff time. We had the first event on a Saturday morning, which means the kids were all hanging out Friday night. You know, so I had to clean up after whoever it was. I mean, that's my whole thing, is the complexity of enforcing whatever the damage was. But I don't know if the group wants to, seems like a lot of work.
You know, it's kind of like when you rent a car. They ask you to go out and walk. If there's any issue, why don't you let us know there's a golf ball size hole in the fender? And you come back to the report. And I would think that'd be a pretty easy step for those who are renting the facility. If you see something that's an issue before you started, write it down, let us know. And then that way they can sort of find that accountability. And certainly when we have a deposit, people are much more careful with things if they got a little skin in the game.
Yes, they are.
Are we gonna just have this deposit just for damages or also for cleanup? Is there's extra that they had left behind?
We can do it for both, sort of like with this bill. It wouldn't be nearly as big of a deposit. I mean, we don't have, you know, hardwood floors to repair if anything's gouged or that sort of thing. But it would be a smaller deposit, but it can include both.
Okay.
I mean, would something like $50 be enough, do you think?
I think the issue would involve taking a look and seeing, relatively speaking, what other rental facilities do, or other pavilions, what Hillsborough does, to all the parks and recreation district, that sort of thing.
So when you add a deposit, you're giving them a check, you're giving the city a check. Or,
Yeah, well, we can handle it a variety of ways. One of them is they give us a check, and we hold on to it.
so okay, so that's the question. Would you hold on to it or would you cash it?
I would have to check and see what we really need to do with it. I know in the past, deposit checks have just been held and then fully returned if there's no issue. And then if there has been some kind of damage, it's cashed and then it's partly returned. So.
Okay,
But we have a safe with the Kimball Public Services building, so it's a safe place to put checks, that we hold on to, so.
Well, that's what I do at the Garlic Festival. When I get my, two different checks, I hold on to the cleaning deposit. And then I check at the end of the festival, and if their space is clean, then I hand them their check back, or they tell me to shred it, whichever. But ours is, for the Garlic Festival, is $250. So.
Thank you.
okay, is there a couple people who would like to work on this? Do some research? Get back to us?
I'll do it. I don't know much to do. It's not good. I guess I could try to help as well.
Okay, Abby and Evan need to be a little subcommittee to work on this. And you can bring it back to us in our next meeting. Thank you. Anybody else have anything about that, about the building that they'd like to add?
I'm a fan of the deposit. I think it just creates accountability for an asset in the city.
Okay, thank you.
Those doing homework, let's visit, because I can think of a few in other places. And you can go like 2-3 websites and do it.
Okay. New business, the email from the North Case resident regarding the skate park discussion. Did you all get a chance to review that and comments, questions, concerns?
It's a pretty expensive lot right there. It's a right, it didn't, on Zillow today, it said it was a $308,000 lot. What it was valued out.
It's a
That-
retail spot.
And it's right on the main road there, for better, for worse. It's a pretty big lift. I'm not sure I can get behind it, but certainly appreciate the thoughts.
I thought, another area that might be good is that corner part of the post office. It's right on the corner and it's on Commercial Street. So there's lots of people going by to be able to keep an eye on.
Is that property we own?
It is, no. That's just
Yeah.
it. None of that we own.
Right.
So I don't know that we can afford to buy any property.
Yeah.
To make a skate park.
Plus it's a 6-figure lift to build those parks easily, or, yeah. It can be a lot. Again, I think we love the people reaching out, being engaged, but that might not be the right spot, or is it just right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know how we say it to him nicely, because it's nice he's mentioning it, but I think it's a pretty low priority for us in terms of. I can't remember, I mean, I'm outside a couple hours a day, the last time I saw a skateboarder, it's just not much skateboarding happening. I mean, that's nice, this person is, but he can go 15 minutes away to a couple of them. So I think we just nicely say we appreciate it, we'll keep track of that, but, I mean, we have to be honest, it's just not much push for that. And it's a big number.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I will say I have had a citizen come to me about a skate park as well, very interested. And then I'm very concerned for our teenage population that would probably use that and giving them an outlet in town. We're discussing the park for smaller children right now, just to keep it on the horizon. Some, not necessarily the whole park for them, but some ideas for our older kiddos too.
Yeah, it would be nice. We just need the funds and the property.
I think the question would be the best kind of hangout, because I was talking to somebody about skate parks and they say the young people tend to show up in it. A lot of them just sit there and play music and it's kind of a hangout. But maybe somewhere they could hang out. The concept is a good idea. What would be best if it's not that? It would be a good to have a place they can go.
We're not all that far off from having that park completed with the futsal and the half basketball. I mean, that's a great place to start, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, asphalt's in and
Is there going to be benches or picnic tables or anything in that futsal area as well? Or is it just a court?
I do not recall the design as it had, I'm sure I had some benches around there, but I don't know about picnic tables, not in that particular area.
I would say seating comes to mind, but not necessarily tables.
And is a futsal court pavement?
Yes, hardcore.
It's a hard court. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was like a grass.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can play soccer, it's a multi-purpose.
Mhm.
it's typically like a tennis court surface.
Yeah, I went by and I saw it. I was like, oh, I thought it was gonna be grass.
That's why it's called that funny name.
That's all.
That's what that is.
Okay, great. Who will respond to that person? Is that something you want me to respond to them? Let them know that we looked at it and thank you for bringing it up and let them down gently. but say we'll keep it on the horizon.
Write it too.
He wrote it to counselors, he didn't include any city staff, so
Pardon?
he wrote it, it was, he sent it to the city councilors. No city staff was included in the
We
original.
sent it to the counselors.
Yeah, correct. Yes, that would be,
Then I will do
the
that.
reply would come from them, I'm sure.
Okay,
But
thank
you can
you.
advise that that's what they should say.
They'll be notified that they should respond to him.
Let's just say, yeah, we would just, I can, yeah, on Monday, I can, in city manager report, just say it was discussed. and,
Okay.
Yeah,
You feel? So evidently we need to appoint a Parks and Rec Board representative to the UGB Concept Planning Public Advisory Committee, PAC, that's a mouthful.
yes, that's correct. This is for the Public Advisory Committee for the concept planning grant process to kind of come up with a few some UGB alternatives for the planning commission to consider, and then concept planning that would continue through June 30th. When the grant process is done.
There's somebody who would be interested in,
What does this entail?
Probably a meeting per month or every 6 weeks or so. Or from June to from January to June. With other people on the advisory committee, so it'll be residents, some business people, somebody from city council. It'll have other people, representatives from the other boards and commissions. It'll be a variety of people.
The main goal is just to work towards alternatives for the UGB.
For the UGB, and then ultimately what, depending on what the growth concept is, then kind of, the concept plan, so where things are and, where roads need to be, all that stuff. Not super specific, it'll end up looking like a big map with different colors and main infrastructure on it, but that's what the end result will be, when you all are done.
Has the meeting dates already been set in stone for that?
They have not been set in stone, but it's gonna kick off, in January. Maybe earlier, I'll check with Rowan, but I think it really gets going in January. We have some neighborhood meetings that are happening this month and next month, just to kind of go out to the elementary schools here in the senior center, and just for people to kind of come in and talk and look at information, that sort of thing. And then all of that will be taken and start the process with the advisory.
Is the position designed to represent the Parks Board to the group?
yes.
Yeah, this body, on the topic of parks, recreation, trails, all that stuff, this body's more studied than anybody else. And so whoever is from this body would, as the representative, would take this body's recommendations, sentiment about parks, that sort of thing, parks and trails and facilities.
My attendance record isn't probably as great as I'd like it to be here. But it's usually because I travel for work and that kind of thing, and Canadian Thanksgiving, thank you, Canada. But I'm interested in going, like this, like the urban growth boundary is something that affects me. Like, where my property sits, it's a big deal. And so I'd be interested in being part of it.
I second that motion.
So you're volunteering to be the Parks and Rec representative, is that?
I would volunteer, but I. It's a council, so I'd certainly want to listen to you, and if you don't want me to go, that's completely okay. I will sleep fine, but it's something I'd be interested in doing.
Okay, so We have two people recorded. Kevin, are you interested? Is that? I don't know.
I just want to see what. The time frame would look for it. And it's only once a month, so I guess I could say I would also be willing to do it as well.
So when you're on this board, you're representing the wishes of the Parks Board. Not your personal,
That's fair. Yeah, thank you. No problem.
just so you understand that.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you still interested?
I am,
Okay,
I am.
The only thing I would say is just add my little link somewhere, or if someone didn't notice.
Well, could it be that,
we have a backup.
yeah, that there's a backup?
Should you not be able to
I
attend?
love the idea. I'd love to deal with that. That'd be fun.
I'd be fine with
That'd
that.
be great.
I'm perfectly good with that.
And then you covered, you're out of town.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
And you can certainly both go to all of the meetings. It just would be a matter of one of you speaking as the.
That's a good point. Take it both. So,
yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you both.
Let's trade information afterwards, Evan, for sure.
Thank you
Thank
both for stepping up. Okay, C, this is the new thing that I wanted to talk about. Developing situation. We have a board member who has misrepresented their authority by contacting Lynn Howard at the Urban Renewal Agency on multiple occasions. Ms. Howard informed the board member not to contact her again. The board member then reached out to the City of Tigard and spoke with a senior staff member there on behalf of the North Plains Parks Board. This Parks Board gave no direction for that to happen. Not overstepping, undermining our city staff. Makes it very difficult for them to do their jobs. I'm concerned about this. And I'd like to have it addressed. And so I don't know what we want to do. Unfortunately, it's gone. The council has discussed this, and they are against people overstepping as well. They said stated so in the meeting a couple weeks ago. So we need to put. Things are not getting through that we shouldn't be reaching out and talking to people. It's just not getting through. And so. I don't know, Bill, if you'd like to.
Well, would
fill
people
in.
want me to explain what actually happened? Or we can go with this version, or I can say what happened.
So,
Well, you know your side of it, and he knows another side of it.
so,
So somebody knows what I do, that I do, what I do.
so I was, actually, the order of, I wrote a memorandum to city council about, contact outside the city about, urban renewal planning and urban renewal districts. And the sequence of events was, Dawn, I was contacted by a senior redevelopment manager, staff person of the city of Tigard, to let me know that Dawn had contacted another city asking questions. That staff person referred Dawn to this staff person at the city of Tigard. And just kind of let me know, asking questions, about urban rural districts and how they work and this, that, and the other. He thought it was a weird thing. But it doesn't get those kind of questions in that manner. And so he let me know. And then, fast forward to mid-October when I'm visiting with Elaine Howard, who's an urban renewal consultant, who we will be retaining to do work for us. She's kind of the last consultant that does urban renewal, regulatory and planning consulting the way she does. She let me know that Dawn had contacted her on behalf of the Parks Board and was asking questions about a variety of things, and contacted her twice, and she told me that she did let Dawn know that he shouldn't cooperate. Now, all of this is very unusual. This isn't normally how consultants to cities, other staff at cities, that's not usual contact that they get. When a consultant is at a city doing a presentation or doing a public outreach or public workshop, it's very common for residents to come up afterward and ask questions or what have you. The calling in advance of anything the city is doing is very unusual. And this is both from the staff person of the city of Tigard, from Elaine herself, when I worked with her on scoping how she was going to help us. So I put that in the memorandum of city council a couple of weeks ago that you had referred to, because there has been a lot of contact, including this, outside the city that's unusual, in a manner that is odd, weird, and council discussed this. So that's what.
Dawn.
I mean, I've said before, I call lots of people to better understand things. I mean, one tactic could be use a fake name, say whatever, but for me, I feel like it's more honest to be transparent. So I say, I'm a member of the city, I'm involved in different things, I'm on the Parks Board, I'm trying to better understand how the URA works. I was given the name of the guy in Tigard. We had a great conversation. He followed up in an email, just giving me understandings of the kind of things money is used for in URA. So we had a very cordial conversation. I don't know where that word, I've never heard that word, I'm representing, I don't know what that would even mean. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm on the Parks and Rec Board, but I'm not asking them as a member of Parks and Rec, I would like your opinion. I'm not doing that. I'm simply being honest who I am in the city. I also talked to that Elaine, because I heard she was this wonderful expert. Just again, wanted to understand more about how the URA works. She certainly could have said, I'm not able to talk to you, but she didn't say that. She gave me some feedback on this and this and this. The first time I talked to her, she said, I'm not under contract at all with the city. So she was willing to work with me. The second time she said, I have, and since the first time, talked to Bill, so it's better we not talk again, because I'm working more, officially working in the city. We said, great. So we had two cordial conversations. Again, there was never any, I don't even know what that would mean. I'm representing the parks. I was very clear, a citizen who wants to better understand URA. And again, the people were cordial. We had good conversations. I guess I really don't understand the issue of why it's a terrible thing to call people and get information. I talked to a tax person in Salem at one time, just to better understand how the URA works. So again, I'm a citizen, I call people, get information. I guess I'm missing what the issue is. To be very clear, I'm very careful to say I'm not calling as somebody I'm not
Well, why would you
representing.
then, if you're calling as a citizen, why would you even bring it up Parks Board?
Well, because
And
that's
this,
part
and
of my,
Strong towns and this.
I
Why
mean, I
would you
could
do
have
that?
had a fake name if that's the goal, but I want to be honest who I am. I'm involved in the city. I'm involved in parks. You know, part of my thing, I'm being honest, is there a way to use URA money to help more with parks things? Because I'm into that. I'm on the parks board, so I'm letting them know that's part of my interest. That even their city been able to use any of your money? What have you found works best? You know, I want to talk to somebody who knows more about stuff than I do. Often the city who's farther along in this discussion than we are is a good one. Somebody reached out to me today because the city of Cornelius, with their URA, is putting in a rec center. You know, I would probably want to reach out to them, those kind of things and see. I mean, to me, that's how you learn information. You talk to somebody who's smarter than you, is farther along in things, so I don't know. I found overall it's actually a good way to get some good ideas. So, sorry, it's disturbing to people, but I don't really see. Now,
I think where it gets gray is, saying that you're on the park and rec board, and that kind of creates some access. And I think that's probably where the heartburn lies, is it's a very gray statement where we're stepping out of the black and white, of I'm just a citizen. Versus, I'm on the park board as well, that certainly loosens up the other side of the poll. And I think that's where I have a little heartburn with that as well. And I know you're a concerned citizen, I know your heart's in that spot, like that's.
I'm just being honest because
Right.
they're saying. You have, you know, I'm asking questions related to parks. I'm not trying to give myself some standing, but I'm just being honest. I'm interested in park issues. In fact, I'm on the parks. So I guess if it's better that be secret, should I tell people I live in North Plains? I can be secret about that. I could use a different name. So again, I don't have a great answer for that. I just find overall transparency to me, I guess I was told is better, so I don't like a lot of secrets.
At that meeting where, Bill gave us her name. He said that they were gonna hire her to come in and tell everybody and teach everybody. Why could you not wait like everybody else for that training? Where she comes in.
I mean, when I
and
talked the
teaches
first time,
everybody.
she wasn't actually under contract with us.
No, but he told you he was gonna hire her
Yeah,
at that meeting.
I think what was said is, my understanding was she perhaps was already working for us, but that was confusing. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, again, Elaine has, she can say, I'm not gonna talk to you, I'm fine with that. So Elaine could have said the first time I called her, but she didn't. She asked several of my questions. She was very cordial. She had, if there was some terrible offense, Elaine would have said, I mean, usually people aren't offended if they just don't feel it's appropriate, then they say it. But she didn't. She gave me some very helpful input. Yeah,
Well,
she didn't seem at all offended when I called.
I have issue with the way you seem to be underrunning the city. In the, I don't like it. Because you're constantly fighting against them instead of working for them.
Yeah, I don't see why making phone calls is an act of undermining, simply adding in.
Well, it's not just with this.
Pardon?
It's not just with this. It happened with the RIC as well.
What?
The RIC committee. The RIC committee, the relook, the advisory committee.
That I called somebody?
No, but you went in and you were not proposing what the board wanted. You were going in and saying what you wanted.
I proposed to Lake, that's what I was understood that was.
And you kept voting no vote.
No, I voted, if,
No,
look
you
at the record,
did not.
look at the record, it's pretty clear.
I listened to every one of those meetings,
Look at
every
the,
single one of them,
sorry, you're wrong. Look at
and
the
you
final
misrepresented.
The final recommendation was very clear. I said I am in favor of the Lake.
At the final one.
Well, that was the official meeting. That was when we
Every
weighed in.
meeting leading up to that,
The official. statement.
everyone during that whole segment.
The only official one was the final one, and it's very clear there that I stated I think I even mentioned the Parks and Rec, I said, we love the lake area, we'd love to see a park there. That's the official final report that they gave. Read it.
Does the city have any, I've been on looking to the correct term? I don't think rules or regulations or. I think what the correct term would be. Standards for, or standards for procedures like this?
I think,
Maybe not standards, is the correct word, but.
well, you know, you all worked on bylaws, and I think there's information in there about. If you have a situation like this, your bylaws are where you would go. To handle the situation, that'd be the first place.
Oh, I meant, sorry, I wasn't clear, didn't clarify, I meant for members going out and contacting other cities.
No, there's nothing in charter code, there's nothing out there, frankly, because that's why I say it's weird. This just doesn't.
It doesn't usually happen.
It doesn't usually happen, so it's not something that's, you know. City code, section 31, 24. Board and commission members are not to do this, and this, it's an unusual thing. It's kind of up to the judgment and then the bylaws of whatever board or committee to deal with that situation if it comes up. That's why I say that, that's what you can have. But I don't recall that your bylaws have anything about specifically saying you can't contact this person or that. But, you know, I think you would need to look at your bylaws about, you know, is the purpose of the board being served by the person, is, you know, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
So if I might, you know. And I said this to the city council meeting. With urban renewal. When we extend the sunset date and. You know, enable another 20 or however many more years of the urban renewal agency to do things. You know, different projects and things on Glencoe and downtown. Or if we choose, or if this, and when the city plans to update the plan and maybe add more areas of town or what have you to do things. But particularly when we enter this, when we're entering this period about redoing and updating and changing the plan. Urban renewal. The district is funded basically by tax revenue that other taxing districts agree to give us. With the agreement that when we do projects. Whether they are investment in projects that or with, you know, result in private development that's taxable, or whether they're public projects to unlock private development, like new roads or better drainage or extending water that's, you know, expensive to that area or what have you. You know, that unlock those properties to make them developable. The city's urban renewal agency gets tax revenue from all the other taxing districts to do those activities. And our working relationship with them, our plans, our, you know, the things that we want to do with them. The other taxing districts kind of get a say in that. They want to see us using the money properly. Laws have been changed over the years to make it harder to do different things with tax increment, with urban renewal money. And so, you know, it's a delicate thing. There's, you know, that's why it's unusual to hear that somebody's, you know, reaching out and talking to people, because we have to be careful about our relationships with other agencies, partners, that sort of thing. And so I think that's for, you know, for urban renewal planning, that's particularly important because other agencies get to say, no, we don't agree to that. If they don't like what we're doing, or if they've lost confidence, or they're worried about, you know, or they're concerned about something. And so good relationships and not weird things happening are important for urban rural certainly.
So you're saying by whether he meant, whether he probably, even though he probably didn't mean it. What he's caused is a suspicion for the city of North Plains with his odd way of going about it.
I don't know that I would say that that's the perception was caused. I just, that kind of trying to make contact and get ahead of the city, and possibly misrepresent what the city's planning to do is problematic. It just, it needs to stop, and how you handle what's happened in the past is up to you, but it needs to stop moving forward. It really does.
If a person is misrepresenting what the city is planning on doing, in my case, I'm not representing the city's planning anything, I'm just asking questions.
That's not the perception that's being given by the people who have been spoken to, Don, unfortunately.
Again, I talk to the people, I'm fine. If I call somebody and they say I'm not comfortable talking to you, but that's not what happened. I'd be fine with that if somebody says it's inappropriate, I don't want to talk.
But I guess the other thing, Don, is, you know, why didn't you come to me and ask these questions? And actually, there's been a question about Jesse Mays being made an urban renewal project, where I've said twice is problematic from an urban renewal regulation standpoint. And Elaine specifically said you asked about that. So you've been given a no 3 times, that it's a problematic type of project.
I know on what,
Jesse Mays being added to an urban renewal plan as a project.
right? And you're saying that Elaine would say it's impossible, we can't do it.
I am saying that I talked to Elaine about it. That was among what you had asked about.
She implied these kind of places could get money potentially.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. No, public projects like this where it's purely for a park facility and doesn't encourage private development nearby or around it is not an allowable project. And she would not have told you that, and she said that to me.
We'd have to have more discussion again. You can look it up. Cornelius is in the middle of a $2 million rec center with their urban renewal. So again, I want to hear from more people because I've heard several places say these kind of things have been done before, but I mean, okay. Again, if Elaine, that would be a great question for Elaine to address when she comes here. If she says there's no way to use that kind of money, I mean, that money gets used for city halls. Why couldn't it be used for this? But again, I don't mind hearing that from her. It'd be fine.
I think she did tell you that, and I told you that twice. And that's the problem. It's just this fog. I'm happy to work with you on things, Don, but she made it clear that you were asking about that also. And I mean, she's gonna work for us. She's gonna help us, and you can ask questions of her. That's fine. But it's unusual and not helpful when that sort of thing happens before she comes and is officially working with us. That's the sticky part of this.
And I'm fine if she would say, I'm not able to speak to you, but she didn't say that when I called her the first time. I mean, I'm fine with that. That's very appropriate. She says. Sorry.
My fears is this gonna continue to happen. I don't think it's gonna stop.
Sorry, you're
I am worried.
I'm not really sure how this works into our meeting, what we're really trying to accomplish. A bit of an odd agenda item.
If you're not working on behalf of the city, you're not working well for the board. This is how I see it. I don't know how anyone else feels, but that's how I see it.
I mean, I'm sure as you're aware, it was myself and a couple of people that came up with the whole lake idea. You're aware of that, right? The whole lake parks idea was developed by myself and a couple other people. And we pushed that forward and it's now a leading thing. So I imagine, and we talked to a lot of people, several of us before, we pushed that idea. So I imagine you want to also thank me for that, for doing that. But I feel like somehow you're saying I didn't represent.
I don't know, I think that
Isn't that
the
a-
Crop family was pushing that probably before you came.
It was in the back burner until that lake thing got brought up. We need to talk to Ty Miller about it. We were two of the ones. I guess we made a mistake, but we went and toured the property with Mr. Crop and I didn't get the city's permission. I guess that was a mistake, but we. Ty Miller went with me. We toured it. We talked about this new idea. Why don't we restore the railroad? Put a park and there could also be some houses. He liked it. I liked it. He continued to push it. Again, that's another example.
I
We
just
didn't
feel
ask
that the
city
companies that
permission.
go down are always jumping the gun. You're not following the correct protocol.
So we shouldn't have met with Mr. Crop.
You probably should have, but you should have also went to the city and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Can I do this on behalf of the city? Are you interested?
Or at least on half the board.
Again, I'm trying to be very careful. It's not being done on behalf of Parks and Rec. You know, that idea eventually went to Kai, went to some other people. It generated a lot of positive feelings. I think this group ended up liking it.
Would you like it?
But it sounds like I did something wrong, you said, if I jumped the gun. Again, the key issue for Kai and I think there was a person in the Economic Commission that was gonna come, that couldn't come to that meeting. The idea was to get more people involved in the discussion. Which seemed like we thought we were doing a good idea there. And it's come to fruition where that's probably one of the favorite ideas now is to develop the lake area.
Any concerns? Also, ready, do you have anything?
I don't think I have anything at this time. It would be something more for council to discuss.
I think the concepts and intentions are right. I think we just need to be able to move forward as a team. Better, if that's fair to say. And then, you know, prior to going out, let's discuss it. And yes, it slows things down. But also I think that we sign up to be a part of this. We don't forego our rights as a citizen, but we've also signed up to be a part of this.
And work on behalf of the city.
I agree.
Did you have anything?
I mean, that's my style. I guess you certainly could, I don't know if you can try to kick me off. I've talked to people already about the park. To get ideas from different people who do parks. In that case, I talked to you, I didn't say my name. Again, I'm just looking for ideas. They're putting in a new park in Bryn Hill. The equipment's already arrived, so that interest in who's doing it, oh, this is nice. I think gathering information is a real effective way to get things done, so.
Thank you.
I don't have any extra comments or concerns right now.
I guess my concern is. Are we going to be back at the same table talking about the same thing in another month? I think Don has a good heart. He wants to know things, but I think he has misrepresented the Parks Board. And I think it has caused the city a lot of problems. Whether it was intentional or not. And I'm not sure where we should go from here.
I mean, I'm comfortable to make it easier, make this my last meeting, I'm fine with that. I officially resign. I'll stay for the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
We accept resignation.
Don, I'd like you to stay. But I think it's important that, like, what you bring is so helpful, but just as long as it's done within sort of the parameters that we have. Is that fair? And maybe that's going against you. But that's my thought, is I think you bring a lot. But, I don't like to use the word flat, it's horrible. But I think you bring a lot, and you care. And I think it's a question of sort of how we execute going forward, and I think we can do that. But I'd like to ask you to stay. I know it can be frustrating. That's clear, because your intentions are right.
I know that you want to try to get a lot of this stuff through. Unfortunately, with how things are in work plans right now. Things are gonna go slow, this is government. It was sort of made to just go at a snail's pace, unfortunately. But unfortunately, you gotta also realize, when you mention the Parks Board. That automatically puts you as a representative of the Parks Board. So whatever you do or say as that comes back to us. So if we were going to move forward, at least ask you to recognize that. For any other future actions you may take.
I don't mind, I can even not say my name, I just was always brought up in be transparent. So who I am, involved citizen who is on the Parks Board. Nobody I've talked to seems to think I'm saying, I don't even know what representing the Parks Board would mean, that I've been given the job to call and get information, but. I guess if I was on something, I don't mind withholding the information, but I find that people, when they find out later you're on the Parks Board, you didn't tell them you're on the Parks Board, that also offends them, so. I don't have a good answer, I was always just told, be transparent, be honest, so. I guess the other way to go is you call me, you don't say your name, you don't even have to say where you're from. You just try to talk to people. Yeah, that's another way to do it.
I don't think you should be calling anybody. I think that is the city's job. Regardless of. I know that's what you do, but you are overstepping your position. And making it harder on the city. When you make these phone calls. On behalf of the Parks Board. That's all I can say. It's just, it shouldn't be done.
I mean, if that's the official rule that nobody on committees can call people, I guess I'd want to hear that from the city, to be honest. There's no rule that says that, you know, you can't call people, you can't talk about things, I mean, come on, people do it all the time.
But Dawn, you're representing the city when you call and say you're on the Parks Board. That's the whole problem. I mean, I don't wanna get into it with you, but that's the problem there, is that you're representing the Parks Board. And it's been told to them how many times that that's what you said you were.
Twice, yeah. And I did. If it's better to withhold that information, I don't really mind doing that. I was always told, like, if you call somebody, be transparent. So I would always call in the past and I would say my job title where I worked. I was just told it's better to be transparent. If it's better to fib about that or not say it, if somebody pushes it,
I think it's the calling at all.
I don't think, I mean, if that's a rule that nobody involved in anything in North Plains can call people, then that should be a rule that should be made. I was not aware that's a rule, but if it is, I was certainly not on that.
I don't think that that's a rule. I think that if you called and said, I'm interested in how this works. Not. This is where I live, this is what I do. But I'm just interested in how this works.
I
That's all you
don't
have to
mind doing
say.
it that way. I was just always told before not to do that because you have to be more honest who you are, but yeah, I don't mind doing it the other way, I guess. And again, people don't have to talk to you if they don't want. I'm fine with that. Somebody said,
Well, personally, I'm willing to accept your resignation, so that's me. Mayor.
I guess the question, I kind of asked it before, but Lori raised it again, like, you know, the staff are here, why all the external calls when we can help them? Like, that's what we're here for.
I mean, at times I'm trying to get, I want more information than just North Plains. So it interests me if another city with a URA used the URA like Cornelius to renovate an old building into a rec center, that would interest me because, oh, that's something we could do. So, but I'm being told maybe we can't, so I want to always add more information to understand things better. I mean, and the URA, to be honest, has evolved. We're giving grants now, I think maybe to this Two Sisters, right? She was told numerous times by the city, she couldn't get a grant. So to be honest, part of the complexion here was the city's given different answers.
She has never been told she can't get a grant.
She was told that several times previously.
No, she's never been told she can't get a grant. She didn't. See, that's. I don't want it misrepresented. The relationship we've had with her.
Yeah,
She has had a variety of different types of costs that don't qualify for the food tenant improvement grant. And that it was up, and so I went to council a few weeks ago as the urban renewal board, and I said, and I told them, we don't have a program for her to apply to right now, and we don't want, and I don't advise council to set precedent of just anybody applying for money without any criteria, program, fair application, fair requirements, all that stuff. But we can talk to her and see if there's anything we can come up with that gets us somewhere, because we don't have a program, but they have done some things with their property to the credit of the district. But we've never told her we've never denied her a grant. We've never told her, no, you can't have a grant. But it's up to the board, it's up to city council to come up with, to agree with those programs and then staff to go out and implement them. So there are subtle differences between what's really happening and how it's being expressed sometimes that cause, you know, bad understanding of what a situation is, like just right there. So.
Right, the good news is, I know you're considering we're getting a grant, so it's a good end.
We're
Yeah,
working with her on a path.
Excellent.
So I have one keep, one accept, or one stay, one accept. Do either of you have a decision?
Fortunately. I understand a lot of where you're coming from, Don, but fortunately, just don't think you understand. How that affects the rest of us here at the city and on the board. So, fortunately, I'd be willing to accept your resignation.
I'm gonna have to accept it as well.
So,
I mean, to be honest, I don't think you need a motion. Somebody resigned, so to be
No.
honest, this is kind of a waste of time.
yeah, so
Right.
we know at this point.
I mean, if you wanna make sure the majority. Wants me to, I mean, when somebody resigns, I think you respect that and move on.
Okay. Parks Foundation update, is there anything else?
We have not had the meeting yet for this month. This- Last I heard. The letter didn't get the outcome they were quite hoping for. But still, every little bit helps towards the goal. They have got some.
And a lot of people haven't received it. I don't know if it got lost in mail. I don't know what, you know,
Can I ask
about that?
how, did you get the addresses from the county?
she did.
Because people don't update their addresses when they switch from a PO box to a street address or vice versa, and in North Plains, that happens. Fairly regularly, apparently the post office decides. Well, you know, we're gonna start delivering to your house, or we're not gonna deliver to your house, we need to get a PO box. And those addresses don't get updated with the county. We've had this problem with planning commission notifications and stuff. We follow the guidelines, we get the list from the county, we send out 300 letters and 60 of them come back as undeliverable.
So yeah, how many came back as undeliverable?
It's not done, by that one's not done by the city, it's the foundation, so
Yeah,
that's,
so
that's a.
there were 83 that came back at first as undeliverable. I think there were a few more after that, but there were 1,550 that were mailed.
So that's not bad.
But I've asked a lot of people and they never received it.
Well, and just so you know, we have sent out letters for planning stuff and we, and this is no exaggeration, we have gotten undeliverables returned to us 4 months after we sent them, 5 months after we sent them.
Isn't the problem they go to Portland first before they come back here?
Yeah, they do, but
That's just so stupid.
all city mail, like Forest Grove's mail goes to Portland, Banks mail, they all go to the big distribution center for sorting and stuff.
I see.
It's the same with the postcard for the cleanup day.
Exactly.
Look at how many people show up without the postcard.
Yeah,
They didn't get it.
yeah,
So if I might, I just want to put it out there in. The city is happy to share all of the water customer addresses in town. We're sending bills to when we're paying them, so we have the right address. I just think there was a sense of. Yeah, we can't share the names of the people who live there with the address, so if there's a desire to do. More outreach, but less personal, something like dear North Plains resident.
resident.
If that is okay as far as how you would do outreach with cards. We can, we just can't give addresses, all the addresses and the names on the account with each one, that's a privacy violation. So just keep in mind, we're happy to give the addresses, but we just can't, you'd have to do something a little bit different in addressing people, that's all.
Okay, I will make that recommendation to Cindy.
Yeah.
Did she give you a dollar amount that's come in so far?
That's what I was just looking for. She was gonna update me, but she didn't send it to me today, so.
But as of the last meeting, it was
700 and something, plus I hand delivered a $350
Right,
check.
so it's
Which
it's
had
been
not
more than
been-
1,000, but
Yeah.
there's.
But I don't know, she said money's coming in. but
Did we have
it's
to
a couple dollar
cover
amount.
the mailing? That.
Foundation for,
So we-
yeah. And so I believe they're going to be putting it on the community page and trying to put it in the newsletter as well
I believe she said at the,
for December.
yeah, for December.
I mean, I think what a lot of fundraisers would tell you is mailings aren't really very effective anymore. You know, a lot of people say almost all their mail is junk mail. They tear stuff up, they don't. Yeah, they throw away stuff. Because they don't get their bills in the mail anymore, most people, so I'm not sure. Mailing is probably the best way to raise money, probably for something like this.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna start a social media where it's on too. So that's, yeah. Okay, December meeting. I don't think we're gonna have a December meeting. December off. We don't have much to work on, so.
Well, the other thing, the good thing though, is we wanted to just come together real quick to decide who's going to be president, vice president for the next year.
Yeah, it's done at the first meeting in January.
Yeah.
It says it in the.
Oh, we did, no, right, we did talk about that.
Yeah, so that will happen in January. So. So was there any staff updates?
Not really, more pressing, but what I will say is that moving forward, we had a good conversation with council at the last meeting. And what they, decided by consensus was, moving forward, they're gonna be looking to all the boards and commissions to go through their own interview of applicants to be on the board process. There are 3 expiring seats at the end of this year, 1 on the planning commission and 2 on, the EDC. And they, wanted to communicate with all the boards. Number 1, they would like for each board and commission, the library, actually, it's in their code. But all the boards and commissions, when the seats expire or open, you should do your own application and interview process and make a recommendation to council who you recommend. But then the other thing was, if any seats come up for expiration, the end of the term is expiring, they want to open it up to applicants for all of them. They're not going to waive. They're not gonna waive, just automatically reappoint. Yeah, they want to open it up and let people apply. So. Anyway, so be prepared to manage your own applicants and recommendation process.
Which is what we've done in the past anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
That part.
No, it's just, it's kind of one of those things where, council's kind of exploring everything and seeing how things are working, what's in the code, and the library board is the only one, technically speaking, that it's required to do that, whereas it's not like it's not in the code for this body to do that. You can. And then council makes the decision based on the recommendation, because they're considering it all, including your recommendation, so they meet code with their decision-making process. But they like the idea of each board and commission, whether it's required of them or not, they like the idea of each body interviewing their candidates and making a recommendation.
So would the letter saying that the slot is going to be open or only after it expires?
Well, before, I mean, we want to, I think expiring seats should be filled no later than the second meeting in December by council, so that come January 1, somebody's sitting in the seat that was for the first meeting.
3 months before it expires, let people know that this position was expired, if they were.
But
I think you probably want to do it by sometime in November at the latest. Yeah, just so, because the main thing is you want to, at the very least, have in social media and post it on the website for at least 2 weeks, more is not a bad thing. That there's a seat coming up vacant and we're looking for applicants, you wanna give people plenty of time, you know, so.
3 weeks in 3 months.
Okay, no, we just want to be able to get the word out and give people plenty of time, and then with the holidays, you know, we're distracted, so.
Just wasn't sure if they had a recommendation for when to start posting that.
No instructions regarding that specifically, but just.
They need to be posted for 2 weeks, that's the.
Minimum of.
Standard.
Okay, minimum of 2 weeks.
So we can.
Did you have a different voice?
Veterans Day celebrations tomorrow morning. Also, the Jingle is coming up in December, so I think we're gonna be getting that banner out here on Glencoe fairly soon. Are there any other questions for me?
Okay,
So Sherry, just to let you know that, I'm gonna post the vacancy this week, so we'll probably get some applications in. Before the December meeting, so you can, think about if you might wanna have a meeting to.
oh, in December,
We can do a short meeting, so I was just.
probably should.
Just letting you know, and you can let me know. You don't have to decide, you know. Okay. But. yeah.
It'll be a short meeting. Okay.
Once we have like 20 applicants.
True. Okay. This meeting is adjourned. John, on the work on the board.